What's going on, everybody? James with Blue Collar Champions podcast, episode number 3. So we're gonna go ahead and dive right into it today. I got a lot of content, a lot on my mind that I want to get out, and just wanted to start kind of a different way today. So recently, it's kind of come up that, about what our limiting factors are. What's the stuff that's holding us back? It's been a topic of conversation. It's just been something that's on my mind as I start to grow and develop, and just kind of taking a look around and just listening to how other people talk about either themselves or other people. And so I just wanted to address the topic of, shit that holds us back. Particularly, giving a fuck what anybody thinks about us. I mentioned in both episodes prior to be very selective about whose opinion of yourself you listen to. And that includes yourself. If you have a, bunch of negative self-talk and self-defeating thoughts, and that's what you focus on why you can't do it, and all your I can'ts outweigh your I cans, then you need to take a good hard look and really start to work on that and flip that script. So just think about everything that you could have done up until now. If you turned the wonder what they will say or wonder what they will think, if you turn that script into, I wonder what would happen if I did. I wonder what my life would be like if I actually did accomplish that. And I stopped caring about what other people think about me. At the end of the day, when you haven't done shit with your dreams, and it's you and only you, who cares about what they think? You think some hater in a comment section or some fake buddy is thinking about you while you're not chasing your goals? No, they're not. They don't give a shit, man. You were just a blip on their radar. No, they're at home sleeping like a fucking baby. Meanwhile, while you're giving a shit what they think about you. I was thinking about just being courageous in your life. I think kind of the world that we live in, everybody's insulated by 10,000 miles or comment sections or the ability to comment or have an opinion on everybody else's shit. And I guess the older I get, the probably the less opinions I have on other people or what they're doing. Because I really start to I really realize as I get older that that's their gig. That's their shtick. That's their brand. Good for them, man. Like, you like flying, RC radio controlled like jets and stuff like that, which are super cool anyway. That's not my thing. I'm not into that. But you want to make a podcast, you want to make a channel, you want to record that, you want to talk about, the different motors that go. Cool. Do your thing, man. Do your thing. The older I get, the more I'm like, that's legit awesome. Do I necessarily want to watch it? Not necessarily, but I think it's cool that people are doing that. So that's what I mean. It's just about being courageous and not giving a shit what other people think. You're going to constantly be bombarded with reasons of why you can't do something or why you shouldn't, or, why, how you're not any good at it, how you're not qualified. Leave that shit for other people to worry about, really. Not you. This is your life. You live it the way you want. People are going to say and do stupid shit all along the way. So what? What matters is how you respond to it. That's it. That's all that matters. Respond, not react. Or if you even choose to. you don't actually have to respond. You don't actually have to read comments. You don't actually have to care what people think. If the people aren't interested, cool, let them move on, you know. You know, the older I get, the more I understand also too that response and that reaction and that cycle, that's my energy. I'm not talking about like my chakra, you know, or you know, whatever invisible light beam energy I'm putting out, whether we are or not. But save that for another day. You know, it's literally my energy. It's my energy. It's my time into caring what other people think or say about me. Fuck it. I need that time. You know, I need that time. I need that time to be thinking and working and investing in other avenues, not what other people think or what other people say. Who gives a shit? Why waste time and why waste your energy giving it away? So that really hit home to me actually Monday night this week. So it was Martin Luther King Day. So it was a holiday at the gym also. So some of the trainers were out. Anyway, so I text our coach and, you know, see what was going on. You know, we running no gi into gi class, you know, 6 to 8. They said, oh, it's open mats. You know, Monday night open mats for the holiday. Okay, cool. I didn't think anything of it until I showed up. And that's when I went, oh shit. That's when I had the thought, oh shit, okay. Open mats, check. So the entire like fight squad is on the open mats. Now you gotta understand, I train no gi and gi in class work, and we roll. And that's not always with, you know, the active fighters. They kind of come in and out depending on, you know, what their training, what their workload is, what their fight camp is, you know, stuff like that. So there's a lot of guys I don't necessarily know or know that well. So anyway, my first thought as I stretched, you know, I put my mouthpiece in, you know, after having that like, oh shit, you know, this is going to be deep water tonight. So I start stretching, and I started to shift my paradigm from that oh shit, you know, and kind of that nervous, anxious kind of feeling to, you know what, this is an opportunity. I got an opportunity to learn from some really talented guys tonight. It's going to be painful, but I got an opportunity here, and to meet some new guys, make some new training partners. So I had to change my paradigm and just shift that lens, you know, into positive, optimistic outlook. And learn I did. You know, tap early and tap often is a good philosophy for remaining in one piece at 42 years old. Especially with some of the young killers, you know. An hour later, you know, soaked head to toe, I was shaking hands and giving bro hugs. It's just a, you know, that's a way of shaking a hand and giving a slap on the back. And thanking each other for the hard work. You know, it was an awesome night of training. Now, what if I had cared about what people thought about me? What if that thought of, maybe they'll think I suck if I tap out, if I get tapped? You know, maybe they'll think, you know, I'm not, you know, here's this, you know, big buff guy, you know, gym rat. He has no place here, you know, whatever. Just all that negative crap that runs through your head. And, you know, instead I went in open and optimistic and positive and got to train with some real fucking killers and loved it. Good dudes, great work. You know, and now they know that I'm a good training partner, you know, that I'm not going to hurt them, either accidentally or on purpose. You know, and I'll make them work for those submissions. You know, they're going to work for it. We're going to sweat. So that's kind of how the shifting of the paradigm, you know, and the desires to create and to be better, It spills out into everything, man. It spills out into everything, into, you know, jiu-jitsu on the mats. You know, so that's just how it works in my life. So, you know, with the definition of success being the status of having achieved or accomplished an aim or objective, hey, that night was super successful. You know, kind of a little bit of soft food Tuesday, but it's all good. You know, it was a great night. Made some new friends. You know, new training partners, and just like elevating my level too. You know, because you train with different people that have different techniques, not necessarily better or worse than your normal training partners, just different. It's going to elevate your technique, because all of a sudden now you're going to have something that you're bringing to the table with, you know, one of your normal training partners that he's not looking for. So, you know, just putting those little games in there and then talk about it, you know. So, you know, taking the concept of what people think about us one step further. Think about it like this. This is the best analogy that I've heard. I'm not claiming, I didn't make this shit up. It was passed down somewhere. Think about it like a drowning man reaching for a life preserver. Does that drowning man reaching for that life preserver in that ocean, you know, in those crashing waves, does he worry about what people think about him? Does he worry about whether the people on the Coast Guard boat or the ship, you know, does he think, you know, I wonder if they're critiquing my swim technique? No, he's worried about getting his fucking ass on that life preserver. That's it. That's all that matters to him. Not how anybody thinks he swims, or how he even ended up out there, or how he sank his freaking boat. So, probably not, right? So start looking at your life like that drowning man reaching for a life preserver. In this here, I'm not even going to say the things that just the things I'm going to bring to these videos is a life preserver. You know, these teachings, you know, these books, the way of changing your paradigm and moving from selling your time to creating, you know, multiple sources of income, passive income, that's always generating revenue for yourself and your family. That's a life preserver. Your path to wealth, your path to legacy for your kids, your path to raise them with everything you never had, your path to peace and prosperity. So are you going to care about what people think or what people say, or if whether they agree with you or your platform or what you're doing? You know, or are you going to look at this in your wealth, in your businesses, as the life preserver? You know, and swim for it with reckless abandon, and don't care, you know, whether somebody's critiquing your swim technique. Who gives a shit? And hopefully that makes you think twice, you know, and that's really why I want to dive into this. I know I'm going deep, you know, we'll get to moving on, but I just want to dive in and really, you know, help you understand that if you could change your paradigm about caring about what other people think or say or whatever, you know, you're going to open up a world of opportunities to you. I mean, the sky's going to open up, and all of a sudden, all of these things that, you know, you never thought you could do, or that you weren't even aware were there, all of a sudden are there. All of these opportunities right now, and I'm, you know, without going into too much detail, right now there's more opportunities for my life than I have hours in a day. And what does that mean? Like, you know, creating an LLC to become an independent distributor, you know, of different, you know, piping and hydraulic products. You know, just things that like presented themselves, and it's like, oh, hey, there may be an opportunity here. So let's start talking with the head of sales. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'd love for you to rep our products. You know, okay, yeah, you put us in touch, and then all of a sudden, I'm just a pass-through putting people in touch, and then my company gets a check. Seems like a no-brainer to me, you know. But that's just one. And like I said, I mean, like, I don't have the hours in the day. I'm having to outsource some of that to get those things set up and to get moving. So now let's talk about, that, okay, we talked about things that are holding us back. We talked about, we're talking about what other people think about us. Now let's talk about all the other shit that holds us back, that are within our control. What is it? Drinking? Is it drugs? Is it procrastination, laziness, education, information, spouse, girlfriend, parents, friends, etc., etc., etc.? Handle that shit. Whatever it is, handle it. Handle it in your own way. If you need help, go get help. Either way, just handle it. If it's self-inflicted, figure it out exactly what you need to do and fix that shit. If you need help, get help. If it's people around you, that's an easy one. Walk. Drop them. Seriously. Just like that. If you get an MRI and they find a tumor that's cancerous or about to be, what do? And in no way am I making light of cancer. We've all lost people, courageous people who make the world a better place. And the plague that is cancer has taken them away from us, and the world will forever be a little bit dimmer without them, and they will be missed forever. And it's sad. But as far as people being cancerous in your life and the dreams that you want and have, cut that shit out before it ravages your entire body, which is your life. Get rid of it. Same goes for people. Do you want to live the life of your dreams? Or do you want to worry about some fucking asshole's opinion or feelings or what they think about what you're doing? Trust, there are toxic people out there, and you should avoid them like the fucking plague. Your life depends on it. So I hope that I've been clear here about addressing the shit holding you back. It's as simple as a paradigm shift. Change your lenses that you view the world through, and all of a sudden the things we think are important change. So I want to hit you with some quotes. Obviously, we're going to read. We're going to go back into the book today. We're going to read, I think, 27 through 35. Yeah, that's right. So I'm going to kind of run through these kind of quick because we got a lot of reading to do. But where we left off last week with desire in chapter 1, this is the culmination of everything, of all of that work. So this is where the rubber meets the road today. Anyway, quotes to live by. When another blames you, and this I kind of made them about what we're discussing today, about other people's opinion of us. When another blames you or hates you, or people voice similar criticisms, go to their souls, penetrate inside, and see what sort of people they are. You will realize that there's no need to be racked with anxiety that they should hold any particular opinion about you. Marcus Aurelius from Meditations. So that's thousands of years old advice about other people's opinions of you. So this is not new. And I may butcher this. Lao Tzu, founder of Taoism, 500 BCE, philosophy focused on doing what is natural and going with the flow of the cosmic force that binds everything together. One of his most famous quotes: care about what other people think and you will always be their prisoner. Yep. Susie Kassan, I think that's how you say her last name, famous poet, screenwriter. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. That's the truth. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Steve Jobs. Everybody recognizes that name. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. The mediocre mind is incapable of understanding the man who refuses to bow blindly to conventional prejudices and chooses instead to express his opinions courageously and honestly. Albert freaking Einstein. Yeah, Albert Einstein. I think that's worth listening to. I could go on forever regarding this topic, but I'll leave you at Einstein. You see the pattern? Great minds, wisdom of the century, super successful business owners, all saying the same thing. Stop worrying what other people think about you and live your life the way you want to live it. Chase the dreams that you have. So, all right, we're going to dive into the book. All right, this is good. I'm going to read a little fast. Just obviously I'm trying to keep this down to 30, 45 minutes. So this is page 27 from Think and Grow Rich, compiled by Ross Cornwell, this edition. That makes all the other ones obsolete. So, the morning after the Great Chicago Fire, a group of merchants stood on the State Street looking at the smoking remains of what had been their stores. They went into a conference to decide if they would try to rebuild or leave Chicago and start over in a more promising section of the country. They reached a decision, all except one, to leave Chicago. The merchant who decided to stay and rebuild pointed a finger at the remains of his store and said, "Gentlemen, on that very spot, I will build the world's greatest store no matter how many times it may burn down." That was in 1871. The store was built. It became a towering monument to the power of that state of mind known as burning desire. The easy thing for Marshall Field to have done would have been exactly what his fellow merchants did. When the going was hard and the future looked dismal, they pulled up and went where the going seemed easier. Mark well this difference between Marshall Field and the other merchants, because it is the same difference that distinguished Edwin C. Barnes from thousands of other young people who worked in the Edison organization. It is the same difference which distinguishes practically all who succeed from those who fail. Every individual who reaches the age of understanding the purpose of money wishes for it. Wishing will not bring riches, but desiring riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire riches, and backing those plans with persistence, which does not recognize failure, will bring riches. The method by which desire for riches can be transmuted into its financial equivalent consists of 6 definite practical actions. First, fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. It is not sufficient to merely say, "I want plenty of money." Be definite as to the amount. There's a psychological reason for definitiveness, which will be described in a subsequent chapter. Second, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. There's no such reality as something for nothing. Third, establish a definitive date when you intend to possess the money you desire. Fourth, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not to put this plan into action. Fifth, write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, name the time limit for its acquisition, state what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. Sixth, read your written statement aloud twice daily, once just before retiring at night and once after arising in the morning. As you read, see, and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. It's important that you follow the instructions described in these 6 actions. It's especially important that you observe and follow the instructions in the 6th. You may complain that it is impossible for you to see yourself in possession of money before you actually have it. Here is where a burning desire will come to your aid. If you truly desire money so keenly that your desire is an obsession, you will have no difficulty in convincing yourself that you will acquire it. The object is to want money and to become so determined to have it that you convince yourself you will have it. Only those who become money conscious ever accumulate great riches. Money consciousness means that the mind has become so thoroughly saturated with the desire for money that one can see oneself already in possession of it. To the uninitiated, who have not been schooled in the working principles of the human mind, these instructions may appear impractical. It may be helpful to all who fail to recognize the soundness of the 6 actions to know that the information they convey, here we go, this is where I was getting to, was received from Andrew Carnegie, who began as an ordinary laborer in the steel mills, but managed, despite his humble beginnings, to make these principles yield him a fortune of considerably more than $100 million, which is equivalent to, whatever today, huge. It may be a further help to know that the 6 actions were carefully scrutinized by Thomas A. Edison, who placed his stamp of approval upon them as being not only the steps essential for the accumulation of money, but necessary for the attainment of any definite goal. The steps call for no hard labor, they call for no sacrifice, they do not require one to become ridiculous or unthinking. To apply them calls for no great amount of education, but the successful completion of these 6 actions does call for sufficient imagination to enable one to see, to understand that accumulation of money cannot be left to chance, good fortune, and luck. One must realize that all who have accumulated great fortunes first did a certain amount of dreaming, hoping, wishing, desiring, and planning before they acquired money. You may as well know right here that you can never have riches in great quantities unless you can work yourself into a white heat of desire for money and actually believe you will possess it. So the last part of that sentence, believe you will possess it. You may as well know also that every great leader from the dawn of civilization down to the present was a dreamer. Christianity became one of the greatest powers in the world because its founder was an intense dreamer who had the vision and the imagination to see realities in their mental and spiritual form before they had been transmutated into physical form. If you do not see great riches in your imagination, you will never see them in your bank balance. Never in the history of America has there been so great an opportunity for practical dreamers as now exists. The hardships of those recent tough and unsettled economic times have put many back at square one. A new race is about to be run. The stakes represent huge fortunes which will be accumulated within the next few years. The rules of the race have changed because we now live in a changed world that definitely favors those who have had little or no opportunity to win under the conditions existing recently. When fear often paralyzed personal and economic growth and development. We who are in this race for riches should be encouraged to know that this changed world in which we live is demanding new ideas, new ways of doing things, new leaders, new inventions, new methods of teaching, new methods of marketing, new books, new literature, new features for the mass media, new ideas for entertainment. Back of all this demand for new and better things, there is one quality which one must possess to win, and that is definitiveness of purpose. The knowledge of what one wants and a burning desire to possess it. We have witnessed the death of one age and the birth of another. This changed world requires practical dreamers who can and will put their dreams into action. The practical dreamers have always been and always will be the pattern makers of civilization. We who desire to accumulate riches should remember that the real leaders of the world always have been individuals who harnessed and put into practical use the tangible, unseen forces of opportunity and converted those forces or impulses of thought into skyscrapers, cities, factories, airplanes, automobiles, and every form of convenience that make life more pleasant. So, that was a lot. Just to sum up. So, that visualization and those dreams is what he's talking about. Every car that you see, every plane, automobile, all of that was somebody's dream. So it was somebody visualized that, believed in their heart they could have that, had a burning desire to make that happen and create it from nothing. So, tolerance and an open mind are practical necessities of the dreamer today. Those who are afraid of new ideas are doomed before they start. Never has there been a time more favorable to pioneers than the present. True, there's no wild and woolly West to be conquered as in the days of the covered wagon, but there is a vast business, financial and industrial world to be remolded and redirected along new and better lines. In planning to acquire your share of the riches, let no one influence you to scorn the dreamer. To win the big stakes in this changed world, you must catch the spirit of the great pioneers of the past, whose dreams have given to civilization all that it has of value. It is that spirit which serves as the lifeblood of America, the burning desire to take full advantage of the wonderful opportunity, yours and mine, to develop and market our talents in a free land. Let us not forget, Columbus dreamed of an unknown world, staked his life on the existence of such a world, and discovered it. Yeah, I mean, we're not living in the time of lords and serfs and being condemned. If your father was a shoemaker, you're going to be a shoemaker or whatever, you know. Like, we have the most opportunity available to anybody right here at our fingertips. So, going into Copernicus, the great astronomer dreamed of a multiplicity of worlds and revealed them. No one denounced him as impractical after he had triumphed. Instead, the world worshipped at his shrine, thus proving once more that success requires no apologies, failure permits no alibis. If the thing you wish to do is right and you believe in it, go ahead and do it. Put your dream across and never mind what they say if you meet with temporary defeat. For they perhaps do not know that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. Henry Ford, poor and uneducated, dreamed of a horseless carriage, went to work with what tools he possessed without waiting for opportunity to favor him. And now evidence of his dream belts the entire earth. He put more wheels into operation than anyone who ever lived because he was not afraid to back his dreams. Thomas Edison dreamed of a lamp that could be operated by electricity, began where he stood to put his dream into action, and despite more than 10,000 failures, he stood by that dream until he made it a physical reality. Practical dreamers do not quit. Lincoln dreamed of freedom for the slaves, put his dreams into action, and barely missed living to see a united North and South translate his dream into reality. The Wright brothers dreamed of a machine that would fly through the air. One may see evidence all over the world that they dreamed soundly. Marconi dreamed of a system for I like this one in particular. Marconi dreamed of a system for harnessing the intangible forces of the electromagnetic spectrum. Evidence that he did not dream in vain may be found in every radio and television set in the world. Moreover, Marconi's dream brought the humblest cabin and the stateliest manor house side by side. It has made the people of every nation on earth backdoor neighbors. It gave the President of the United States the means by which to talk to all the people of America at one time and on short notice. It may interest you to know that Marconi's friends had him taken into custody and examined in a mental hospital when he announced he discovered a principle with which he could send messages through the air without the aid of wires or other direct physical means of communication. The dreamers of today fare much better. The world has become accustomed to new discoveries. It has shown a willingness to reward the dreamer who gives the world a new idea. The greatest achievement was at first, and for a time, a dream. The oak sleeps in the acorn, the bird waits in the egg, and in the highest vision of the soul, a waking angel stirs. Dreams are the seedlings of realities. Excuse me. Awake, arise, and assert yourself, you dreamers of the world. Your star is in the ascendancy. Worldwide economic uncertainty has brought the opportunity you have been waiting for. It has taught many people humility, tolerance, and open-mindedness. Wow, there's a concept. The world is filled with an abundance of opportunity the dreamers of the past never knew. A burning desire to be and to do is the starting point from which the dreamer must take off. Dreams are not born of indifference, laziness, or lack of ambition. I love that. Yeah, dreams are not born of indifference, laziness, or lack of ambition. So right there, he's telling you that there's no place for indifference, laziness, or lack of ambition. That you should absolutely be throttled and ambitious to forecast these dreams. The world no longer scoffs at dreamers, nor calls them impractical. If you think it does, take a trip to Tennessee and visit the mighty dams and power plants of the Tennessee Valley, the TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority, to witness what a dreamer president did in the way of harnessing and using the great power of America. At one time, such a dream would have seemed like madness. It is amazing. If you ever get a chance, go up and look at what the TVA did up in the mountains of Tennessee. I mean, just logistically, to get materials there, a freaking nightmare. And then to change the direction of rivers and create huge valleys of lakes up in the mountains. I mean, it is really, really neat. And then I forget the name of the dam that's on the Tennessee-Virginia border, where you can cross over right there into another state. But just to think of what it took to get material there, working in engineering and construction field, it's, that's what amazes me when I see things like that. So that was somebody's dream, and they worked through all of those steps and all of those the roadblocks that came, literally roadblocks that came up one at a time to create just megalithic structures, basically up in the mountains. So if you ever get a chance, go check it out. Okay, where were we? Okay, you may have been disappointed. You may have suffered setbacks and defeat during hard economic times. You may have felt the great heart within you crushed until it bled. You may have maybe started feeling that, this year, or 2022, or, with what's going on with the market right now. Take courage, for these experiences have tempered the spiritual metal of which you are made. They are assets of incomparable value. Remember, too, that all who succeed in life get off to a bad start and pass through many heartbreaking struggles before they arrive. The turning point in the lives of those who succeed usually comes at a moment of some crisis through which they are introduced to their other selves. John Bunyan, that's how I'm going to pronounce it, I could be wrong, wrote Pilgrim's Progress, which is among the finest works of all English literature. After he had been confined in prison and sorely punished because of his views on religion, O. Henry discovered the genius which slept within his brain after he had met with great misfortune and was confined in a prison cell in Columbus, Ohio. Being forced through misfortune to become acquainted with his other self and to use imagination, he discovered himself to be a great author instead of a miserable criminal and outcast. Wow. Strange and varied are the ways of life, and stranger are the ways of infinite intelligence, through which human beings are sometimes forced to undergo all sorts of trouble and tribulation before discovering their own brains and their own capacity to create useful ideas through imagination. Edison, the world's greatest inventor and scientist, started out as a tramp telegraph operator. I've been meaning to look up what tramp means, because it's plastered all over this book, but this was written a long time ago. He failed innumerable times before he was driven to the discovery of the genius that slept within his brain. Charles Dickens began by pasting labels on blacking pots. Not sure what blacking pots are. The tragedy of his first love penetrated the depths of his soul and converted him into one of the world's truly great authors. That tragedy produced the first David Copperfield, then a succession of works that made this a richer and better world for all who have read his books. Disappointment over love affairs can have the effect of driving many people to drink and others to ruin. And this because most people never learn the art of transmuting their strongest emotions into dreams of a constructive nature. The power of transmutation will be dealt with in detail later. Looking forward to that. Yeah, so take all that pain and frustration and anger and rage and resentment, take all that shit and turn that into fuel, all right? And let that drive you. Helen Keller became deaf and blind shortly after birth and for years could not speak. Despite her misfortune, she wrote her name indelibly in the pages of history of the great. Her entire life served as evidence that no one ever is defeated until defeat has been accepted as a reality. Robert Burns was an illiterate country lad who was cursed by poverty and who grew up to be a drunkard in the bargain. The world was made better for his having lived, because he clothed beautiful thoughts in poetry and thereby plucked a thorn and planted a rose in its place. Okay. Booker T. Washington was born into slavery, handicapped by race and color in the society in which he lived. Because he was tolerant, had an open mind at all times and on all subjects, and was a dreamer, he left his imprint for good on an entire nation. Beethoven was deaf, Milton was blind, but their names will last as long as civilization endures, because they dreamed and translated their dreams into organized thought. I did not know that Beethoven was deaf. That is crazy. Before passing to the next chapter, resolve yourself to kindle in your mind the fire of hope, faith, courage, and tolerance. Once you have these states of mind and a working knowledge of the principles described in this book, all else you need will come to you when you are ready for it. There's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. You are never ready for a thing until you believe you can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief, not mere hope or wish. Open-mindedness is essential for belief. Closed minds do not inspire faith, courage, and belief. Remember, no more effort is required to aim high in life, to demand abundance, prosperity, than is required to accept misery and poverty. Jesse B. Rittenhouse has correctly stated this universal truth through these lines in his poem, My Wage. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is just an employer. He gives you what you ask, but once you have set the wages, why, you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. Think about that. So that's where we're going to leave the reading today on chapter 1, Desire. And then we'll be finishing that up, next week. We'll finish up chapter 1 on Desire. So that was a long read today. I just want to bring everything together. But we dove further into Desire and chronicling ordinary folks who did extraordinary things with their lives and accomplishments. We were discussing many people who had circumstances. Remember that old word, circumstances? That should have halted them from go, but they weren't thwarted by circumstances. Instead, they found massive desire in the goals they visualized and manifested their destiny. I'm not a religious man by any means. I would say more spiritual, but Even the scriptures give us clear direction to get the life we want by using desire and belief. So this is from Psalm 37:4. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find it. Knock and it will be open for you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks it will be opened. So that's like ancient scripture. In conclusion, for today, for number 3, the directions are laid out right in front of us. Have the courage to stop caring what others think about you, and then change whatever's holding you back. Be receptive and keep an open mind. Opportunities will literally fall in your lap. Be open and listen. You may have an opportunity to make the world a better place right now. And I'm not going to say whether or not you have an obligation to make the world a better place. I'm just saying you may have the opportunity. Like I said, I started this journey just a couple months back, and of course I still work full time. I mean, I have a great job. I don't know if I went into enough. I don't know if I said it enough, in the last 2 podcasts, but I mean, I have an amazing job. Comes with a ton of freedom. Comes with a lot of responsibility. I make, I do better than I ever thought that I would, and it was just a matter of being positive, taking every opportunity to learn and retain that information, and just always being the guy that that said, yeah, I think I could do that. Sure, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Yeah, absolutely. And then taking it seriously, researching, and then executing the project. So it's just putting one foot in front of the other, and it's going, it's having some confidence, and it's going, yeah, this is going to be a challenge, but again, just like Monday on the mats for me, hey, I think this is going to be an opportunity to learn. So take those learning opportunities. Be receptive. There's businesses I'm getting into now that I never thought I'd be a part of, at all. Just because it's not even necessarily like things that I'm a subject matter expert on. But the crazy way the universe works, it's brought people together who are subject matter experts. So that's what I mean. Be receptive, and like he talks about, when you're ready, these things just start to explode. Like I said, I don't have enough hours in the day to work all of the opportunities that are available. So I'm kind of triaging and, obviously taking care of the ones that are right in front of me, and then meanwhile strategizing like how to set the other ones up, to create that just passive income. So yeah, that's it. We're gonna wrap it up for number 3. Be good. Work hard on yourself too. Treat yourself like a business. Treat yourself like a super wealthy individual. Be good to yourself and your family, and most importantly, man, get after life. Okay, because it's not going to wait for you. So get after it. Thanks.